Khan Academy Add and Subtract Fractions. We're working on the subtopic Common Denominators. We have two fractions, 5/12 and 3/4, and we want to rewrite them so that they have a common denominator and whole number numerators. What numbers could we use for the denominator? And they tell us that we're going to have to choose two answers. So in this case, we need to look for multiples of these numbers. So I'm going to start with multiples of 4. So 4 would work, 8, 12. So 12 would work, okay, because we have 4, 8, 12. It's a multiple here, and 12 is a multiple here. Okay, then as I keep going, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So none of those are down here, so I'm not worried about them. And then 24. Would 24 work? Yes, it would, because 12, and then the next multiple of 12 would be 24. So here, when I'm counting by 4s, I definitely hit 12 and I definitely hit 24. When I'm counting by 12s, I hit 12 and I hit 24. So we know that either of those would work as my common denominator. List the first 5 multiples of the denominator in each fraction in order of least to greatest. So we're going to list our multiples of 5. So this is our fraction is 2/5, so we're looking at our denominator. So 5, so our next multiple, we're just counting by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Then we're counting by 2s, the multiples of 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Then what is the least common denominator for the two fractions? So we're looking at, in our list, what number do these have in common? Do they both have a 5? Nope. Oh, they both have a 10. I see a 10. Do they both have 15? Do they both have a 20? Do they both have a 25? Do they both have a 2? Do they both have a 4? Do they both have a 6? Do they both have an 8? So the lowest number that they have in common is 10. So least common denominator means the lowest number that they have in common. Rewrite each fraction with a denominator of 24. Okay, so to think about this, we're going to take our 3/8 and we're going to just make it with a new denominator of 24. Okay, so we're just making equivalent fractions. So to make an equivalent fraction, what we did here was we did 8 times 3 is 24. So then we have to do the same thing on the top. 3 times 3 is 9. So to make this as a fraction out of a denominator of 24, it would be, and we can use this, 9/24. And then if I look at my 7/6, I'm going to, again, go ahead and rewrite it, 7/6. And I'm going to change my denominator into a 24. Yeah, I know that 6 got a little bit crazy, didn't it? 6 times 4 is 24. So then I have to do the same thing to the top. 7 times 4 is 28. Okay, and they want it as a denominator of 24. So some of you that might remember fractions might say, well, wait a minute, we're not supposed to have a larger number on top. And you're correct, except that they told you they want it to have a denominator of 24. So I'm going to go ahead and write 28 over 24. We have two fractions, 3/4 and 7/6, and we want to rewrite them so that they have a common denominator and whole number numerators. What numbers could we use for the denominator? So we're looking again at our multiples. So if we have 4, we have 8, 12. So I'm just counting by 4s. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And then 24. And then if I need to keep going, I can, but for now I'm just going to stop. So all I did was I looked at my denominator and I wrote out 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Then I'm going to look at my denominator of my next fraction, which is 6. And I'm going to do the multiples of 6. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. And now I'm looking for what numbers are in both columns. So which do they have in common? Well, I see here that there's a 12 in both. And I also see there's a 24 in both. So both of those would work as a common denominator. So in my list, I see 12 and I see 24.